Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. Like an embarrassing amount of excitement is radiating through my body right now. And it's going to be the start of a 6-part series. Originally, this video was going to be all encompassing. So today we are just going to be talking about every single makeup product that I purchased during my first ever Sephora Vib haul, which was in 2017. I wanted this video to be everything that I've ever purchased at a Sephora Vib haul. But when I started to compile my list of products, I realized we would be here forever if we talked about every product I have ever purchased during a Sephora Vib sale. So I originally was inspired to do this video when I saw, when I saw Alex do this video, I think it was during her Vlogmas this year. I will have her channel as well as her video linked down below. And she was talking about everything that she had purchased during the Sephora Vib sale. And I was like, ooh, next spring, I want to post that like right around Sephora Vib sale time. And then I recently started compiling my list and was like, ooh, we're gonna have to break this up. So every single week for the next 6 weeks, I will post the consecutive, like the next year and what I purchased during that Sephora Vib sale. But the Sephora Vib sale starts tomorrow for Rouge members, and all week I have been posting a Sephora themed content. And so I'll have my Sephora playlist linked down below if you guys have missed any of that content and want to check it out. I will also have all of the details for this spring sale linked down below. But if you're interested, and it's a lot of products, I'm like, dang, I would have thought like my first Sephora Vib haul wouldn't have been that large. And as I was going back through everything, I was like, oh my gosh, I have purchased so much. So if you're interested in seeing what I purchased during my first year hauling during the Sephora Vib sale, stay tuned. For if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project planning content or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love if you consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Okay, I'm gonna scoot over because I'm gonna post pictures, because a lot of these products I don't still own. And last fall time, or maybe it was during Vlogmas, I posted a video about makeup that I forgot that I owned. I'll also leave that video link down below. But as I was going through some of my like hauled items, I was like, I completely forgot that I owned that product. There's actually, I'm like, I don't think there's anything that I still own. But actually there are like a handful of items I still own. I didn't grab them, so I'll just be posting pictures of literally everything over to the side. I also, reflecting on this was also really fun because it just like made me realize I used to be much more into like skincare, and I used to get a lot of skincare during the Sephora Vib sale. If you guys haven't already, I would love if you would watch my Sephora shop with me for this upcoming sale and leave me your feedback on what you think I should purchase during this sale. I am also on like a low buy for the year, or I'm doing like a makeup spending challenge to myself. So I'll leave my makeup rehab series linked down below as well. I am in no way trying to brag about what I've purchased, it's embarrassing to share how much I purchased on makeup. This is just all in good fun. So if this video or watching this style of video is going to be triggering to you, just don't watch it. I was reading through some of the comments on one of my old Vib hauls, and someone was like, oh, it's nice to see you're here to brag about what you purchased. And I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to do. This video is all in good fun, and I've spent a ridiculous amount of money on makeup, and honestly it pains me a little bit, but I will likely continue to do so. Okay, I'm gonna be looking down because I'm like literally reading my notes. I'll also, should I link these old hauls? It's embarrassing to watch some of these old videos, but I'll link my old hauls in case you guys want to watch circa 2017 stuff and how embarrassing I was. Okay, you guys, we're kicking it off with the 2017 Sephora Vib sale. Who remembers the Urban Decay B6 spray? Who remembers that? I totally forgot about that, but I purchased the Urban Decay B6 setting spray. I also purchased the Urban Decay chill makeup setting spray. I think I would wanted to try all of the different sprays that Urban Decay had in their line. I don't think they have as many anymore, but and I don't feel like these are not memorable in my opinion. And then I also picked up the Urban Decay Optical Blurring Primer. I totally forgot about this primer. This was such a thick pore filling primer. I totally forgot about owning this. I don't even know if I finished that primer off, because maybe I did, but I remember it just being so thick and just like, I feel like I would hate that primer if I tried it again today. But I was just laughing as I was like, oh my gosh, I remember wanting to try every Urban Decay spray and being really into the Urban Decay brand at this time. And now I like Urban Decay, but I'm definitely not as into the brand. So it's just fun to kind of like reflect back. I also picked up the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer, and I had this in the full size. I forgot I owned this in the full size. This was a nice primer. Definitely not something I think warrants the price tag of Makeup Forever. Like, I think there's much better, less expensive alternatives to the Makeup Forever primer. But I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I used that one up. And then I purchased a Peter Thomas Roth masking gift set. And back in the day, I used to do like masking Mondays or like let's test videos where I would test and share my reviews on different like skincare masks. So I had purchased this Peter Thomas Roth gifting set because I wanted to test out each of the Peter Thomas Roth masks on my channel. And I got through, I think, all of the masks that he has ever done, at least back. I'm sure he's come out with more now, but I used to do so much masking as well. And now I like my skincare routine, you guys. Like, there are nights where like I'm so lazy, I'll be like in bed and I have a couple of moisturizers in like my nightstand, and I'm too lazy to like reach my arm over and grab a moisturizer for my freaking dry face. I've gotten so lazy when it comes to my skincare routine. But I was just laughing, reflecting back, because I'm like, I forgot that I would do like masking review videos, and I like loved filming those videos. Should I start doing mask review videos again? No, I definitely shouldn't. Okay, I also forgot I was so into the, is it Korres or Korres, that skincare brand? I loved their rose like vitamin C oil. I was so into the brand. Also the Greek yogurt foaming cleanser, loved it so much, went through so many bottles of that. So I also purchased a Korres gift set at this time as well. And when you guys, I like totally forgot how into Korres I was, or Korres, whatever it is. You'll see as we go throughout the years, like I would constantly buy their gifting sets. And now I'm thinking to myself, like, are they even still in Sephora? They probably are, but are they? Should I purchase, if they are, should I purchase the Greek yogurt foaming cleanser again and see how I still feel about it? I'm telling you, I went through at least three or four full bottles of that. I may have to see if they're still available at Sephora. Totally do not remember owning this product, but the Philosophy Retinol Night Treatment, I don't remember this at all. Like, upon hearing that I hauled it, I was like, ooh, maybe I remember owning it. I don't remember how I felt about that product at all though. It was in this haul that I first purchased the IT Cosmetics CC cream, which I went on to purchase another one of those, as well as another one or two of the IT Cosmetics CC Radiant Cream. I used to absolutely love the IT Cosmetics CC cream for the summertime because it has SPF 50. Now I'd rather just wear an SPF and a different foundation. But I do actually have an IT Cosmetics. I have the nude CC cream currently in my collection. So you guys, the Urban Decay Skin BB Cream, I hauled this, and I said in the haul, it was like my second or third one of these. I completely forgot about this product as well, but I went through so many bottles of this, and I loved that Urban Decay like Skin BB Cream. I literally, that was erased from my memory. That was another product that I'm like, I totally forgot owning that, loving it. But yeah, hauled my like second or third bottle of that during this 2017 spring sale. It was in the 2017 spring sale that I first purchased the Smashbox Studio Skin Foundation. I really enjoyed this foundation. I think I went on to purchase a second bottle, but didn't end up finishing the second bottle, because then I'd like, my love for foundation grew even more, and I love testing new foundations, and it just wasn't a favorite anymore. It was also the 2017 spring sale that I purchased the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, because this was all the rage back in 2017. You couldn't watch a YouTube video without someone mentioning the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, and I just didn't think it was worth the price tag. It was fine, and I'd be curious if I were to go back and try this now that I feel like I have a better understanding of like my skin as well as just like my makeup preferences. Would I like this now? I'd be curious, but I also don't want to spend $64 or $67 to find out. If you would have asked me, I wouldn't have guessed that I purchased the Too Faced Born This Way foundation for the first time in the 2017 spring sale. I would have felt like that product came way later, but I loved this foundation. I went through like 3 or 4 bottles of this. This is a little bit heavier than I prefer nowadays, but I will say in my head, I'm like, ooh, if I were to go back, like how would I feel about this? Because I absolutely loved the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. Went through so many bottles of that. And then you guys, this really made me scratch my head when I was watching, this made me scratch my head. I hauled the NARS Laguna liquid bronzer, which I included in that video about makeup I forgot I own. I didn't even know this product existed. Couldn't remember it. When I hauled this in that video, I said this was like a repurchase. What? Because when I talked about the NARS liquid bronzer and like not remember owning it, I said I feel like I probably decluttered this because I wouldn't even know how to use a product like that. So when I said that I was reordering it because I loved the product, my mind exploded. What? I literally couldn't tell you, like I couldn't tell you a single time I remember using the NARS liquid bronzer, and it horrifies me to think, like, was I putting this all over my face like a foundation? It horrifies me to think how I use this product. I purchased the Benefit Quickie Contour Stick in the 2017 spring sale, and I purchased this because Manny MUA would use this product all the time to contour his nose, I think, or just to contour, and I felt like if I purchased this product, suddenly I would become an expert at contouring. That didn't happen, but I did finish this product off in a project pan down the road, so at least I used it. I also purchased the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronzer in Tantric. Not Tantastic, in Tantric, because I wanted Tantastic, but this was like the first year it had launched and it sold out and you couldn't get it anywhere, and I still wanted the like beautiful Marc Jacobs compact, so I purchased the Tantric bronzer. I liked this bronzer and used it quite a bit, but eventually ended up decluttering it after I purchased the Tantastic, just because I felt like the shade worked a lot better for me. And I do have a pan on my Tantastic now. In fact, I used that bronzer just the other day, but I kind of forgot that I owned, like after watching the haul, I was like, oh yeah, I remember owning that, but I forgot about that until watching the haul. Okay. The Too Faced Primed and Poreless Pressed Powder. I loved that pressed powder, and I want to know, does Too Faced still make the primed and poreless? Like, I loved this powder. This was a repurchase when I hauled this. My camera battery's gonna die. No. It was a repurchase when I hauled it, and I'm like, dang, I remember absolutely loving that powder because I felt like it like truly filtered my face and really smoothed it out. And I would be curious if they still had it, if I would still feel the same way. I also purchased the Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter in like the purple one, and I remember owning this because I remember I returned this because it was like that putty texture, which me and my like very novice, very beginner to makeup self back in 2017 had no idea how to use this highlighter. So I thought mine was like defective, I'm pretty sure, and I was like, I can't get this to work, and I ended up returning that product. So I was laughing when I saw that. You guys, 2017 Sephora spring sale was when I purchased Becca Flower Child, which I do still own in my collection. I think that's the only product in this entire list that I still own in my collection. I love that blush. In fact, I just used that like last week or 2 weeks ago because I was trying to decide if I still wanted to keep it, and I love it. I love it so much. I used to actually really love Becca in 2017. I'm pretty sure this was at like the peak of Jaclyn's popularity with Becca, and I just loved like the saucer pan packaging, and I went on to purchase quite a few other Becca blushes, but that was my first Becca blush purchase, and it just touched my heart to watch me haul that. And then the final 2 products that I hauled in that specific haul was a Marc Jacobs eyeliner. It was like a purple shade. I think I finally decluttered that last summer because it was dried out. And then also the Marc Jacobs Sugar Sugar lip gloss, which I finally used up maybe 2 years ago. Would love if Marc Jacobs still existed. I feel like I could see myself purchasing Sugar Sugar again. While the formula of their lip glosses was a little bit stickier and a little bit gloopier for like today's day and age, Sugar Sugar was such a beautiful nude lip that I feel like I would just love to have that shade in my collection again. So I definitely smiled when I saw myself haul Sugar Sugar because I think that was my first, like, I'm just like, so many of my purchases were influenced by Jaclyn Hill at that time. So she was definitely the one who encouraged the Sugar Sugar purchase. Okay, I changed my camera battery out, so if my camera's like, if we're at a slightly different angle, I apologize, and that's why. That was everything I purchased during the 2017 spring sale. Moving on to the 2017 fall sale. Whew. This is a doozy. Like, this is a doozy. I hauled so much, and I would not have, like, I don't remember hauling that much, like, back in 2017. Anyway, let's get into it. There were definitely some actual wins in the 2017 holiday haul. There were some products that like are all-time favorites. There's some products that I still have in my collection, but there's also some serious misses, and I can tell that I was still like very much dabbling and experimenting and didn't really know like my true makeup aesthetic or what I really liked. But again, you'll notice there's a lot of skincare in here, and it just like reminds me of how much I used to truly just love skincare, and now I'm like, I can't be bothered. What ingredients should I be using? Like, someone just tell me what to put on my face, and and let's be done with it. So to kick it off, the first product that I hauled truly is an all-time favorite in my collection, and it's one of the people who shall not be named. It was when Kat Von D was still part of Kat Von D, and it was the Alchemist palette. I absolutely love this palette. I use it at least 2 or 3 times a week as an inner corner. Like, it's the perfect inner corner highlighting palette. There's 4 different shades in it. There's like a holographic blue, holographic pink, holographic purple, holographic green. I absolutely love this palette. It is my perfect inner corner, like inner corner highlighting palette. All-time fave. So glad that I got that. Then I purchased the Sephora Give Me Some Bold lip set, which I used to be so into all of the Sephora favorite sets, and I used to love all of the Sephora like lip sets, which is probably why my lip collection had like gotten so out of control. It's still out of control, but like a lot of some of my lip products came from these like favorite sets. I couldn't tell you exactly what was in that. I didn't pay that close attention when I was rewatching these hauls, but I purchased that Tarte Rum Punch. I wouldn't have guessed that it was 2017 that I purchased Tarte Rum Punch for the first time, but that is my favorite lipstick of all time. I lost it sometime, I believe last year. Maybe I should repurchase Tarte Rum Punch during this Sephora Vib sale this year, because it's truly my all-time favorite lipstick. The shade, the formula, I just love it so much. And I miss that lipstick. The Milk Lit highlighter stick, when it was still like the jumbo. I used to watch Nicole Renee all the time, and she would use her Milk Lit stick as well as her Milk Baked Bronzer all the time. I did go on to declutter that product. I wonder if I would like it more today, just because back in 2017, I had no idea what I was doing with my makeup, especially if it was like a cream or a liquid like highlight, blush, or bronzer situation. Like, I had no idea. Now I think I may like that better, but I also have so many other cream highlight products in my collection that like, can't be bothered. I also purchased a Nude Sticks 3-piece mini set, which if like the peach, what is my favorite? Dewy Peach. There was a Dewy Blush stick from Nude Sticks that I absolutely love. Sweet Peach Peony. That was the shade that I loved. I don't know if that came in this 3-piece set. I love Nude Sticks Sweet Peach Peony, but aside from that, I really haven't tried a ton from the brand. Way back in the day, I also had purchased one of their like lip crayons, but I don't really remember using that. So Nude Sticks is really take it or leave it for me. Marc Jacobs, the Wild One eyeshadow palette. Totally forgot about this. It was like the zebra print palette. I think it was like $99, $98, $99. And I remember I wasn't gonna purchase this palette. And then there was one left when I went in the store and I was like, maybe I will. I like walked away to like think about it, but left the palette there. And then someone else came and grabbed the palette and I was so annoyed that I decided I needed to have it. And I ended up asking one of the Sephora employees if they had any like in the back or back stocked, and they did have one. And I purchased that, and I just shouldn't have. I just really shouldn't have. I don't own that palette anymore. I did end up decluttering it. And the Origin spot remover, you guys, I went through so many of those little Origin spot removers. It's such a good, I forgot about this. It's such a good spot remover. I really should purchase another one just to have on hand, because I feel like that would be a lifesaver for my acne that I sometimes get from time to time. I also purchased the Origins Drink Up Intensive Mask. Again, was super into testing different masks. And while I remember enjoying this mask and it being really hydrating, truly, like, masking just takes too much effort for me these days. So I do think I used that mask up. I'm telling you, I used to mask like every day, probably multiple times a day. The amount of skincare I used to do is like insane to me. I also purchased the Marc Jacobs eyeliner in the shade Jazzberry. I think I also decluttered this last summer because it was getting old. It pains me to think about how much I used to spend, like how much a Marc Jacobs eyeliner cost and how infrequently I used the Marc Jacobs eyeliners that I owned. The Too Faced Born This Way concealer, not the like larger one, but the smaller one. Hopefully I can find a picture of it to post here. I really enjoyed this. I ended up panning this, I think in a project, or I just finished it up. But then I bought into the hype of a bunch of different concealers. I don't think they make this specific one anymore, and I honestly just don't get that excited to try new concealers. I have my tried and trues, and I just feel like I don't need to be bothered trying new concealer. Speaking of Becca, I purchased, and Jaclyn Cosmetics, or and Jaclyn Hill, I purchased Becca Champagne Pop during this sale. I decluttered this. I didn't love it. I personally love a pink highlight so much that it like really has to just be like the perfect shade of like champagne or like a gold for me to like want to keep any highlighter that isn't pink. And I just didn't end up loving Champagne Pop as much as I thought that I would. Becca Rose Quartz is where it's at in my opinion. So, but we all know how hyped Champagne Pop was. So I purchased that during that sale. As I mentioned, I loved the brand Kors, so I picked up the Greek yogurt cleanser as well as the rose face oil. Those were like my two tried and true. Repurchased those and that Origin spot remover so many times. Again, I would be so curious to try that cleanser again. The face oil I like, but I wouldn't want to repurchase just because I currently have the Biossance rose oil that I love so much. But I went through so many of those two Kors products, like at least 4 of each. I wrote the NARS concealer, and I can't remember if it was the potted concealer or the NARS radiant concealer. I owned both and I didn't write it down. I definitely prefer the NARS potted to the NARS creamy radiant concealer. If I was more into trying concealers, I would like to like go back and try the creamy radiant again. And the NARS potted concealer, I maybe could see myself owning again. I just don't love a potted concealer, and I don't spot conceal that much, and I liked that concealer more for spot concealing. So I just don't necessarily feel the need to own that. Both, if it was either of those two concealers, I finished both of those off to completion, but they didn't become absolute staples in my collection. I also purchased one of the Bite Beauty Amouche Bouge lipstick sets. I think it came in like a lip shaped tin packaging, and I loved Bite Beauty as a brand, and I just would get so excited about their lip collections as well. Again, why I always had so many lip products in my collection. But I think I ended up decluttering all of these at some point or another. I also purchased a full size of the Boom Boom cream. I had already tried the Boom Boom cream and loved it, so I ended up purchasing a full size. I have gone on to purchase many full size of the Sol de Janeiro Boom Boom cream. I currently have one in my collection now. This is an all-time favorite product of mine. I also picked up the Belief Holiday Miracle Moisture Set. You'll see as we go throughout the years, I love Belief as a skincare brand, and I would purchase their holiday sets every single year because I loved their moisturizer so much, and it was always a better deal to get. Like, you usually got a full-size moisturizer for $38 in these sets, and then there was more products. So I purchased quite a few of these throughout the year. Belif is a skincare brand that if I didn't have so many moisturizers currently in my collection, I would purchase the Belif Moisture Bomb because I love that so much. I also really like their eye cream, but I have a lot of eye creams in my collection to get through, as well as a lot of moisturizers, so there's just no need for me to purchase that right now. I also purchased the Becca Moonchild face palette. I think I purchased this because I had the Aurora Glow kit as well as most of the other glow kits, so I felt like I needed this to like round out my collection, and I felt like I could use it as an inner corner highlighting palette, but I eventually went on to declutter this palette because I just was not getting use out of it. I also purchased the Touch in Sol No Problem Primer. I've panned and emptied out at least 2 of these. I think it was Kathleen Lights who used to rave about this primer, and I did used to really enjoy this primer. I remember it being less expensive too. I think it was like $18. It was a good pore filling primer. It felt moisturizing, but honestly, if I could still get my hands on it, I probably wouldn't purchase it again. I also purchased the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Aqua Concealer, which I did not end up liking. I felt like it burned underneath my eyes, and I just didn't think it was a good concealer. 2017, I also purchased the Ren Perfect Canvas Skin Finish Serum. I did go on to finish this off, and I remember wanting to try more Ren skincare products, and I still want to try more Ren skincare products. I thought it was like maybe 2019 that I first tried Ren. I didn't realize they'd been around since 2017 or beyond. So that was kind of eye-opening to see. If you guys have any specific recommendations for Ren, let me know what your favorite products are. I also purchased a Bite Beauty Agave lip mask. I love the Bite Beauty Agave lip masks. I've owned and finished multiple in my day. I wish Bite Beauty was still a brand so that I could still get my agave lip masks, because those were one of the most hydrating lip masks I've ever used, and those are an all-time favorite product of mine. I also picked up the Clinique Cheek Pop in the shade Ginger Pop. I have gone on to declutter that product. I do really like the Clinique Cheek Pop blushes. I think they're a good formula, but for some reason they've always found their way into my declutter piles. I don't know what it is about them, because I like the formula. I recommend the formula, but I just have always found the Cheek Pops as blushes I'm willing to declutter. Maybe it's I feel like I don't know, their shades aren't that, I don't know why, but I don't own Ginger Pop anymore. But the Clinique Cheek Pops 2017, like those were all the rage. I feel like everybody was recommending those. And then it was the 2017 holiday Sephora Vib sale that I first purchased the Hourglass Mood Exposure Blush. I purchased it in a mini, and that is the first, either the first or second. I can't remember if I finished Mood Exposure first or the Tarte Partay blush first, but that is like the first powder blush I finished. I loved Mood Exposure. I don't necessarily purchase from Hourglass anymore, but like a part of me really wants to own Mood Exposure again. I've been reaching for my Hourglass Ghost Quad so much this year and just forgot how good of a formula the Hourglass blushes were. I just love, it's just like right up my alley in terms of like the finish that it has for the skin. I love a glowier cheek, and Hourglass just gives a beautiful glow to the skin. But that was an all-time favorite product that I hauled in that sale. Also, the Buxom Holiday Lip Gloss set. I am currently working on, I thought I had it sitting in front of me, I don't. I'm currently working on my last mini Buxom lip gloss from this set. There's been a couple I've decluttered from this set. There's been a couple that I've panned. I will say the Buxom lip gloss formula isn't my favorite. Y'all know I love the Lawless Forget the Filler, but the one that I'm currently working on, it's either an Erica or Amy. I always mix the two up. I love the finish that it gives. I love the shade of like the lip gloss shade. I maybe would purchase one full-size Buxom gloss to own in my collection. I maybe would, but I would never go purchase the holiday lip gloss set again, because they take forever to get through. If you're looking for like a good stocking stuffer, or if you know someone who loves Buxom, I recommend their holiday lip gloss set. It'll last forever. But I'm really excited to almost be done. I purchased the Smashbox Cover Shot holiday set. It came with like 3 Smashbox Cover Shot palettes, and I immediately went and returned them. They were the worst quality eyeshadow I think I've ever tried. Normally I don't return makeup, but I returned those. I also purchased the Ciate London Chloe Morello Volume 2 palette. Volume 2 ended up not being as much of a favorite as Volume 1 was for me. I don't own either of those in my collection anymore. And I think Volume 2 was a little bit too colorful for me, like circa 2017. Like I just didn't know how to use the palette. So that was probably like a waste of money. I also purchased the Tartelette Toasted palette during this sale. That one didn't end up being as much of a love for me as Tartelette Bloom was, and I ended up decluttering the Tartelette Toasted palette. I just wasn't as impressed with the quality, and I had other palettes with the same color story that were similar, so I ended up decluttering Tartelette Toasted relatively quickly. I also purchased the Viseart Warm Neutrals palette, and I was not impressed with this palette, which is an $80 palette. I wish I had purchased like the not warm neutrals, like the cooler tone one with like the gray. Maybe I would have liked it more. I've gone on to try a few other Viseart palettes, and the only one I've been impressed with was my most recent Viseart purchase, which was maybe 2 years ago, and it was the Soleil something. I do want to try more Viseart, but not these like $80 palettes. Like I would be interested in like the mini ones going forward. But warm neutrals, I ended up decluttering. I think I decluttered it because I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't as, what am I trying to say? I didn't understand that Viseart is like more of a buildable formula. So I think maybe I was like frustrated in the way that it, like I built, I don't know. It just didn't work for me. The last two things I purchased during that sale, the Sephora Pro Editorial palette, which I have gone on to declutter. I think this palette was just too colorful for me at the time. I did end up having some fun with it. I loved the quality of this palette. It was a really heavy palette. It had a huge mirror, but I think it was just like too advanced for me at the time. I shouldn't have purchased that. It was a very expensive product too. I probably just shouldn't have bought that. And then the last product is my Natasha Denona Lila palette, which is still in my collection. Such an expensive palette, but I love that palette. I think, is that the first Natasha Denona palette I ever purchased? It might be. It might be my first introduction to Natasha Denona was during the 2017 holiday Sephora set, but that is the last product that I hauled in a 2017 Sephora VIB sale. That is it. So many products, and not that many that are still in my collection. Some I used up, yes. A few all-time favorites, but overall, quite a few misses throughout those Sephora sales. I would love to know, what year did you first haul or purchase during the Sephora VIB sale? What were some standout products? It was so much fun to go and look back and truly like remember some of my all-time favorites, like the Kors Greek Yogurt Foaming Cleanser. I'm like, I need to try that again because I was absolutely in love with that. And then it makes me laugh to go back and look at some of like the masking sets that I picked up, and just to like reflect back on like how I really just had no idea what I was doing, and I still don't. But this was so much fun. I'm so excited to continue on with this 6-part series. Next week, we will be looking back at everything that I hauled during the 2018 Sephora VIB sale. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Leave me your comments down below. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel, as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.